Okay, so the first thing that I do is cut it down to a more manageable size. This way it's easier to run through the jointer and the planer. Now at this point, I'm running it through the jointer and face jointing it to make a flat surface. But since it's wider than my jointer, what I'm going to do is after I run it through on one pass, I'm just going to rotate it 180 degrees and I'm going to put it through the jointer on the other side just to get it flat enough where I can pass it through the planer. And if you don't do this, what you're going to have is you're going to have an uneven side, almost like kind of a rabbit on the back of the face of the board, and then it's not going to be level. So you want to do a couple of passes as many times as you can get it flat, taking off about 1/16 of an inch at a time, just to get it flat enough where you can use a hand plane to level it out, and then run it through your planer on the other side. Now it's looking nice and flat. There's a small little ridge. I'm going to pass it through a couple more times, take about 1/16 of an inch or less off just to flatten it out, and then pass it through the thickness planer. Now we're moving on to the thickness planer. I'm going to put the face down that I just face jointed on the jointer, and we're going to pass this through and take off about 1/16 of an inch at a time until we get a nice flat surface. Make sure that you cut the board a little oversized because you want to be able to avoid any snipe on the ends of the boards. Now I'm going to be passing this through the thickness planer until I get it down to where I need it, which is going to be 1 inch thick for the project I'm using this lumber for. Now that we're done with the thickness planer, we have it down to 1 inch and we have a nice flat face with back over at the jointer, and we're going to make one nice clean edge with the flat face up against the fence of the jointer. This is going to ensure that you have a nice straight edge to run against the table saw fence. This way when you cut it down to your final width, it's perfectly straight and square on all 4 sides. Then you can sand it and make a nice project out of it. Here you'll see me adjust the table a little bit to take a little more off with each pass, and you can see as the board comes through the jointer and passes the blades how flat it is against the steel table, ensuring that I have a really straight edge. Now that you have 3 surfaced edges, we can take the straight side that we just put on the jointer and run that along the fence on the table saw and make a nice straight cut along the blade, and then you will have your completely S4S lumber from the rough piece that you bought at the hardwood dealer. Now you're ready to make a project after this pass. Now if you follow these steps, you should have a nice S4S piece of lumber. Maybe even make some hardwood thresholds for your doorways.